Okay, the first thing is the camera. To pan your camera around, you simply move your mouse left and right on the desktop without touching the keyboard or clicking any buttons on the mouse. And it's 360 degrees, plus it's basically all the way around. So it's important for a lot of reasons. One, you need to turn around and look behind you to see if you're about to be eaten by some animal or attacked by some bad guy. It's kind of nice to look at yourself every once in a while. And it is the basic method for steering your character as you move. The next things we'll discuss are the four keys for basic movement: forward, backward, left, and right. By default, the W key moves you forward. You hold down and you'll move forward for as long as you hold down the W key or you don't run into something. The S key moves you backwards. The A key moves you to the left. The D key moves you to the right. So I mentioned the camera and steering. So if you hold the W key down and now move your mouse, you will walk whichever way the camera is pointed. So now you can navigate around between things like these rocks and these trees, and you just smoothly move the mouse, hold the W key down, and you will walk to wherever your mouse is directing you to. The same thing applies to walking backwards, left and right. The next thing is sprint or run. Again, by default, you hold the W key down and press the left shift button at the same time, and you will sprint. The same thing applies to the other directional keys, A, S, and D. And as long as you hold the left shift key down and the W, A, S, or D key, you will continue to sprint in that direction. Next thing we'll cover is walking, which is especially good for RP, but if you're just wanting to walk slowly, you press the backspace key, and then you will walk, as opposed to jogging. In this, if you're walking, then the sprint key will not work. You can also hold down a combination of two keys, W and A, and you will head off at an angle, which is kind of handy for navigating around something as you're running up to it. If you don't want to turn, you can just kind of jog to the left or the right, still bump into the tree. The next thing is crouch, is the C key. You can then crouch. Now, while that may seem like you would never use it, there are times when you have to get under something, and the only way to do it is by crouching. So, while not used a lot, it does come in handy. The next thing is auto run. So you have to go for quite a distance, and you don't want to have to hold down the W key. So you can press the numlock key, and then you will just run, and you don't have to touch anything on the keyboard or the mouse. And you will just run in a straight line again until you hit something, or, well, until you hit something like this tree, and then, or that rock, or whatever the case might be. So sometimes if you hit something, you'll just try to work your way around it. So it's kind of handy for long distances, let you just relax your fingers for a moment, and then as soon as you press W, you will come out of auto run. The next thing is climb. Well, let's do jump first. Jump is the space bar. So just simply clicking the space bar and you will jump. You can do that at the same time you are walking, and it's just kind of fun to hop, skip, and a jump across the countryside. The other thing about the space bar is if you want to climb, you come up to something, hold down the W key and hit the space bar, and you will climb. Climbing uses your stamina. We'll get to that in a minute. But while you're climbing, you can then do the S key to climb down. You can use the D key to climb around to the right, the A key to climb around to the left, again the S key, and when you get back down to the ground, you will drop back. The reason why the A and D key are important is if you are wanting to climb up here and then move around over here to this ledge, for instance, you can kind of negotiate your way up and down rock faces, which, if they're really tall, that also comes in handy. Alright, so that's climb, jump. Now, dodge is going to come into play a lot more during fighting. I don't know when you would dodge or kick outside of fighting, but I thought I would at least address it right here. Dodge is left alt, and you do a little somersault roll backwards. Kick is the control key, and you just throw a kick, and then you will drop into your fighting stance. To get out of a fighting stance, albeit with doing nothing else, you press the X key, and then you will stand back up.